Oh yeah. How you doing, folks? Welcome to the show on a Friday. Didn't do a show Monday. Did it on Friday. Never let you down, do I? No, I don't. I love you motherless fucks. 833-599-NICK. 833-599-6425. Shout out as far as contributions to a guy named Nacho. That's his legal name, I believe, isn't it? And he made a nice contribution. So go to nickdip.com if you'd like to contribute to the show. I appreciate it very much. As usual, we're coming to you live, motherfuckers.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
That's right.
I want all of you to enjoy your cake.
I did.
So, enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Unfortunately, somebody was mad as hell today. But before we get to that horrible shooting in New Zealand, that psychotic, let's start with some good news. I cannot wait. You guys know me in The Sopranos. I'm not saying you know me from The Sopranos. That was a 30-second line I had after 30 years in show business. But you know it's my favorite thing. I put it ahead of The Godfather 1, 2, and 3, Goodfella. I grew up in a suburb. I'm Italian. Just Tony Soprano dunking cold cuts in a mayonnaise jar. I've done 1,000 times. That type of shit. I've marinated it. I've memorized every line. I'll challenge anybody in a Sopranos quiz. After the series went off the air, I had all the discs. I put them in when I was on the treadmill every day. I just watched it over and over, and people were going, "What are you, sick?" Even Edie Falco, who played Carmela Soprano, met her at Louis C.K.'s house when we did Horace and Pete, and I said to her, "I'm still obsessed with The Sopranos," and she gave me the most angry look, like, "You don't watch Nurse Jackie? I've done a ton of shit since then." And I just wanted to say, no, I don't give a fuck. The Sopranos was voted the greatest television show by the Screen Actors Guild, and I was on it. I was on it! Love it, love it. I can't state how much I love it. Well, anyways, hear this. Hear this? This is foreplay for me. My prick swells like a helium balloon at a fucking Chuck E. Cheese party. With a blue moon in my eye. Woke up last morning and I suppose we'll get flagged for that, but they're pretty good, The Sopranos. Anyway, why am I so excited? The Sopranos prequel. That means all the shit that led up to the Sopranos series, as far as the story goes, has a release date and a new name. It's simply titled Newark. The film would hit theaters on September 25th of 2020, more than 13 years after the series came to an end. Let me make a prediction. This is gonna do box office numbers like you have never seen. All you nerds, Game of Thrones and fucking Star Wars, brace yourselves. Okay, maybe not that big. There's more nerds than there are Italians and black people who hated each other in Newark. And there was only one ethnicity that had the balls to stand up to the fucking black people during the riots of Newark. And that was the crazy Gindaloons. Do you understand how good this is going to be, fellas? I know you don't because you haven't watched The Sopranos. But David Chase is like fucking... They have classes now in college about The Sopranos. That's how good it was. And this guy, he's from that area and he's of that age. I can't tell you. I will be there. I don't go to movies opening night, because there's a bunch of... Especially this one. It's going to be a nice mixed crowd. I picture a lot of fights in the parking lot, fucking 60 years later, with wife beaters and baggy Nike pants. You get my... I hope not. The cast is going to include people I don't even know. Alessandro Nivola, Vera Farmiga, Ray Liotta, John Berthnell, Corley Stobe, Billy Magnuson. How the fuck did he get in there? John Magaro. Michael Gandolfini, that's James Gandolfini's son, is going to play a younger version of his dad. How good is this going to be? Other characters from the original Sopranos cast are going to be in there too. David Chase, the creator of the series, teamed up with Lawrence Connor for the script, which is rumored to be set during the Newark riots of July 1967. Bad blood between the African Americans, I like to call them blacks, and Italian Americans, greasy guineas, erupted in the New Jersey city at the time and resulted in 26 deaths and hundreds of injuries. How good is this going to be? Excuse me, I'm so excited.
These blacks. Who knows where they're going to take the wrong way?
You know you want crazy motherfucking wop, man.
Alan Taylor will direct the film, which was previously named The Many Saints of Newark. He directed 9 episodes of The Sopranos throughout its lifespan, in addition to 7 episodes of Game of Thrones. How are you going to lose on this one? Even the nerds, they like his work. They'll come and get an education on how life really works, as well as the feature films, The Dark World, Thor, The Dark World, which I have on DVD Blu-ray. Oh, my God, it's Thor. Suck my ass cheese, you nerds. And Terminator Genesis, whatever the fuck that is. With a late September release date, Newark may be making an award season run, capitalizing on the fan following and sustained critical acclaim for The Sopranos. Oh my God. I will have a bucket of popcorn on my lap and my penis popping through the hole that I cut. I did that in high school. It didn't work. Got a rash from the artificial butter. All right. That's the good goddamn news. Let's get to the horrible. I hate shows like this because I like to, this is a funny show. I'm a comic but every few months we have to do these, and woke up to horrible news. Just, well, you know what I'm talking about, New Zealand. At least 49 people killed in a mass shooting. It probably gone up since I last checked. At 2 mosques full of worshippers attending Friday's prayers on what the primetime minister called one of New Zealand's darkest days. The shooter was a 28-year-old born in Australia named Brenton and Tarrant. One man was arrested and charged with murder. That's him. What appeared to be a carefully planned racist attack. Police also defused explosive devices in a car. 2 other armed suspects being held in custody. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said many of the victims could be migrants or refugees. It is clear that this can now only be described as a terrorist attack. In addition to the dead, health officials say 48 people were being treated at Christchurch Hospital for gunshot wounds. Injuries range from minor to critical. Police took 3 men and a woman into custody. National carrier Air New Zealand canceled at least 17 flights in and out of Christchurch, saying it couldn't properly screen customers in their baggage following the shootings. I don't know why, but that makes sense. Police said the investigation had extended 240 miles to the south. A man who claimed responsibility for the shootings left a 74-page anti-immigrant manifesto in which he explained who he was and his reasoning for the attack. He said he was a 28-year-old white Australian and a racist. Well, thanks for connecting the dots on that one. We had no idea.
You're crazy! I'm not crazy. I just don't give a fuck.
No, you're crazy and you're a piece of filth, let's be honest. Police Commissioner Mike Bush said Friday night that a man had been charged with murder. Bush said police had found 2 improvised explosive devices in 1 car. Said they had disabled one and were in the process of disabling the second one. The deadliest attack occurred at the Al Noor Mosque in central Christchurch. That's the name of the town. At about 1:45 p.m. when it's up to 49 people were killed. Witness Len Panahia said he saw a man dressed in black enter the mosque and then heard dozens of shots. Panahia, who lives next door to the mosque, said the gunman ran out of the mosque, dropped what appeared to be a semi-automatic weapon in his driveway, and fled. He said, then went into the mosque to try to help. I saw dead people everywhere. There were 3 in the hallway at the door leading into the mosque, people inside the mosque. He says, I've lived next door to this mosque for about 5 years, and these people are great. They're very friendly, he said. Look, I lived in Astoria, Queens for a couple of years, and I was surrounded by Muslims, okay? Not all of them good either, by the way. But, they were getting up, most of them going to work with me like everybody else. I still question, and I'm not siding with this piece of shit. I hope somebody kills him before he gets to prison. But after the 9/11 attacks, the next night, there was a cab driver. I always point this out because it's frozen in my memory. A Middle Eastern cab driver with his car parked right in front of my apartment building with all 4 doors open, playing Middle Eastern music and literally dancing in the fucking streets. So they're not all good. But this is no way to go about it, obviously. They're hardworking people. I did a thing for Comedy Central that never made the air. It might have been for Tough Crowd. I went in and interviewed a guy that ran a bodega, convenience store, a Muslim, and he was in tears, upset about the 9/11 thing. And we had a great discussion. Of course, that didn't make Comedy Central because, it would show us being fair and not racist or whatever the fuck. Anyways, a video that was apparently live streamed by the shooter shows the attack in horrifying detail. The gunman spends more than 2 minutes inside the mosque, spraying terrified worshippers with bullets again and again, sometimes refiring at people he's already cut down. They said shots went on for 14 to 15 minutes. Then walks outside to the street where he shoots at people on the sidewalk. Children's screams can be heard in the distance as he returns to his car to get another rifle. By the way, the wide world web, the internet, all over the planet was trying to get this shit down because he streamed it live. And, I'm sure on some pirated sites it'll be there or whatever. I'm not sure why you'd want to see it. The gunman then walks back into the mosque where there are at least 24 people lying on the ground. After walking back outside, shooting a woman there, he gets back in his car with his song Fire. First I thought it was AC/DC, by English rock band The Crazy World of Arthur Brown. I wonder what fucking Artie Brown's about. Yikes. Can be heard blasting from the speakers. The singer bellows, "I am the god of hellfire," and the gunman drives away. Then the video cuts out. During a second shooting at Linwood Mosque, about 5 kilometers, 3 miles away from Al Noor, 7 people are killed. Mark Nichols told the New Zealand Herald he heard about 5 gunshots and that a Friday prayer goer returned fire with a rifle or shotgun. One of the Muslims had a gun on him, and they chased him down the street, the guy. Okay? And this is very interesting because I'm going to get into his manifesto. One of the big reasons he did it had to do with the Second Amendment in America, and he's convinced, and I'm not so sure he's wrong in this either, the government's going to come for your guns, and it's going to cause balkanization, which is going to happen anyways. You didn't have to fucking do this. But they're going to try to take legal gun owners' guns away, and it's going to get really ugly, and there'll be a civil war. That's what he's predicting. That was like the gist of his manifesto. The man who claimed responsibility for the shooting said he came to New Zealand only to plan and train for the attack. He said he was not a member of any organization, but had donated to and interacted with many nationalist groups. Though he had acted alone, no group ordered the attack. He said the mosque in Christchurch and Linwood would be the targets, as would a third mosque in the town of Ashburton, if he could make it there. He said he chose New Zealand because of its location to show that even the most remote part of the world were not free of mass immigration. Last year, the Prime Minister announced that the country would boost its annual refugee quota from 1,000 to 1,500 starting in 2020. Home to nearly 400,000 people, Christchurch is the largest city on New Zealand's South Island. A cricket match between New Zealand and Bangladesh, scheduled to start Saturday, was canceled after the Bangladesh cricket team had a narrow escape. Players and members of the team's coaching staff were reportedly on the bus approaching the Al Noor Mosque when the shooting broke out. Batsman Tamim Iqbal tweeted, "Entire team got saved from active shooters. Pray for us." Psychotic fucking... Hey. Here's the part where he talked. He's all over the map, by the way. According to his manifesto, the shooter appears to subscribe to a number of ideologies, okay? The document is riddled with white nationalist talking points, which, of course, the liberal media jumped on right after the story broke because of the Trump and try to make that connection. And the shooter describes himself as a fascist, an eco-fascist. He's an environmentalist. He used to be a communist, then an anarchist. So he's all over the fucking map. He also castigates Muslims as the most despised group of invaders in the West. Yet elsewhere in the document, the shooter describes himself as a socialist, depending on the definition. The shooter also declares his support for environmentalism, workers' rights, and responsible markets. The first two would be not far left, but left-wing points of view. On the one hand, the manifesto presents the political left as an enemy that concluded a march through the institutions and describes Antifa, communists, and Marxists as anti-white scum, which he used to be a part of. Elsewhere, the shooter writes that under some definitions, he is both on the right and the left. Elsewhere, the shooter disparages conservatism, which must have bummed out the people at CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, the Washington Post, the usual jerk-offs, and declines to identify with it, writing that conservatism is dead, thank God, and calling it corporatism in disguise. The notion of a racial future or destiny is foreign to them as social responsibilities. Parts of the manifesto appear to be insincere, trolling aimed at sowing confusion about his motivations. And here's where he gets like tongue-in-cheek and shit. At one point, he blames his action on the popular video game titles, saying Spyro the Dragon 3. Ryan, are you familiar?
A kids game on the PlayStation 1.
There you go. Taught me ethno-nationalism. So he's saying it tongue-in-cheek. And that Fortnite, which I've even heard, trained me to be a killer. Elsewhere in the document, the shooter identifies black conservative Candace Owens. This is what I started giggling. Now I know he's fucking with us. Obviously neither a white nationalist nor a supporter of violence, as the person that had influenced me above all. In a video posted online, the shooter also tells viewers to subscribe to PewDiePie. I know. 89 million subscribers.
The most subscribers in
Describe what he does, because I read it 4 times and it makes no sense. He's not a comedian. He
makes YouTube videos about games.
He used to comment on video games and say funny shit while he's playing the game.
He says funny shit while he plays them. And
that gets you fucking 89 million YouTube followers? I'm spilling my guts out here and I gotta fucking learn how to play Fortnite and make dick jokes?
He targets the youngest age group very well.
I guess
he talks in a PewDiePie voice.
Only guy that has more young kids on YouTube channel is Jerry Sandusky. So he says, he brings up Candace Owens. She's a black conservative. You've heard her. Right before the shooting, he says, don't forget to subscribe to PewDiePie. His name's Felix Kelberg, and he's got to be filthy. Those fucking numbers are frightening. He's got the most subscribed channel on YouTube, and most of the content is non-political. So this guy's being a dick. In both cases, the shooter attempts to link high-profile individuals who have little in common with his stated ideology, yet command large online followings that are frequently the target of unfair media hit pieces to his attack. At 3 points in his manifesto, the shooter also states his intention to spark a civil war. We don't need your help. We're well on our way. Don't need your help, jerk-off, in the U.S. by triggering crackdowns on the Second Amendment. As he describes it, his attack will create conflict between the two ideologies within the United States on the ownership of firearms in order to further social, cultural, political, and racial divide within the United States. This conflict over the Second Amendment and the attempted removal of firearms rights will eventually result in a civil war that will balkanize the U.S. along political, cultural, and most importantly, racial. We don't need that. We have CNN and we have fucking Deep State with Obama and shit. We're well on our way, dummy. Elsewhere in the manifesto, the shooter predicts that his attack will lead to calls for the removal of gun rights from whites in the U.S. That is the plan all along. He states that you know what's creepy? I got a buddy who was a cop down in Miami who used to go undercover in the 80s to these like Klan rallies and these white supremacists. Had to go undercover. They were predicting and saying the same shit in the 80s. So you can say paranoid or not. He states that he chose firearms for the effect it would have on social discourse, the extra media coverage they would provide, and the effect it would have on the politics of the U.S. and thereby the political situation of the world. He says, with enough pressure, the left wing within the United States will seek to abolish the Second Amendment, and the right wing within the U.S. will see this as an attack on their very freedom, and this is starting to happen. I just talked about a couple days ago, they're passing that red flag thing. The attempted abolishment of rights by the left will result in a dramatic polarization of the people. I don't know how we can get more polarized in the U.S. and eventually fracturing of the U.S. along cultural and racial lines. And like I said, we're well on our way. Of course, Candace Bergen, she's a very well-spoken conservative black woman whose main messages in life is to black people, quit voting Democrat, get off the Democrat plantation. She started with nothing, and now she's kicking ass. She's very educated, very smart, so has nothing to do. Anyways, she was on Twitter. She got jeered at her critics whom said we're attempting to pin responsibility for the mass shooting on her, fucking idiots. Thursday evening, after the suspect in the mass killing of 49 people mentioned her on the manifesto. She replied on Twitter, LOL, exclamation point. Fact, I've never created any content espousing my views on the Second Amendment or Islam. She said, the left pretending I inspired a mosque massacre in New Zealand because I believe Black America can do it without government handouts is the reachiest reach of all reaches, LOL. And people freaked out because she's saying LOL and ha 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 because of this. Fucking social media. Ha ha ha, OMG, you racist leftists are taking your racism and crazy to a whole new level. Ha ha ha. Black people don't have to be Democrats now means mosque shootings in New Zealand. That's what this means. This clearly won't stick, but damn if I won't grow. Hashtag Blexit, highlighting your sheer desperation. Excuse me. In an online manifesto, Tarrant wrote, the person who has influenced me above all was Candace Owens, which is... he's trolling at this point. But Gawker co-founder Elizabeth Spears noted many sarcastic passages in the document and suggested that Owens mentioned have been, like I said, fucking trolling. Still, commenters on Twitter found Owens' use of LOL and haha and laughing emojis inappropriate. LOL is never the right response to a mass shooting, said Bulwark contributor Molly Jong Fast, whatever the fuck that is. I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about there. Others took exception to her tweeted assertion she had never created any content espousing my views on the Second Amendment or Islam and resurfaced past comments that suggested otherwise. Please remind London Mayor, she wrote this at one time, the Sadiq Khan, that according to the birth rate, Europe will fall and become a Muslim majority continent by 2020. She said that in a tweet. There has never been a Muslim majority country where Sharia law was not implemented. When we're forced to save you guys again, we'll forgive the balloon. He mentions that in his manifesto, by the way, the birth rate. And by the way, all that shit is factual. You can look it up. Those numbers are actually correct. That whites aren't and Europeans aren't keeping up with the birth rate. You have to have 2.6 children. I don't want to have a kid that's 0.6 of anything. It's fucking gross. But anyways, all that's just fucking factual. But this is how you solve it. Ooh, I'll kill 49 Muslims praying. They won't multiply. That'll put a big dent in it. Psychotic. Let's go to Ray in Texas. Ray, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You got it.
Yeah, the thing I guess I didn't realize you were going to go off on the mass shooting this early. I guess it's big news, but it goes into what I was thinking about the dog whistle that everybody's been talking about and how the only people's ears that are ringing happen to be on the liberal side whenever they talk about dog whistling, either with gun control and or with race relations from our president.
Right.
Their ears seem to be ringing off the hook.
Well, sure. They're going to try to pin this on Trump because obviously he mentioned, it says in his manifesto, he writes out in his manifesto, like it's interviewing himself, I guess. And he says, he knows what's coming, whether he lives through this or not. He says, are you a supporter of Trump? He says, as a symbol of renewed white identity and common purpose, sure. As a policymaker and leader, dear God, no. So, and the left, like you said, they'll jump on it. It's a dog whistle to the left, not the fucking right. And
yeah. Well, for sure. Well, that was his whole plan. He wanted to set this in motion, and he said it explicatively in his manifesto. Like, he wanted to start this ball rolling, and they did it exactly like he wanted it to. And the weird thing is there's no reaction like, oh, we didn't think about this. But they just roll with it because they want the money for, clickbait. It's sad.
Well, yeah. Although I looked at a few articles, and one of them was the New Yorker, and they didn't cite him saying that in the manifesto, which surprised me. And there were a couple other articles where they didn't bring up Trump.
Yeah.
You know, so because
and they went, but
Go ahead. Well, because he's all over the map. If they brought up Trump, they would have to bring up that he was once a communist and he's a eco-fascist. And,
exactly.
But I caught a little Steven Crowder put out a video early in the morning where I guess they jumped on that. A few of the networks, the usual suspects, jumped on making the Trump connection, which is just fucking silly, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm a disabled veteran, and I remember that the whole reason I went into the military is I wanted to fight this in 2001.
Apparently you still are.
And that was...
I just heard a plane in the background.
I apologize, but I live out in the country now. I'm trying to get away from all the city bullshit.
Yeah.
But like that was my whole thing. I wanted to fight this ideology that I saw, but I wasn't going to go to some innocents and mow down a bunch of people. I knew I had to fight them the correct way. This guy is nuts, and he wanted to start a chain reaction.
Yeah, and the guys you were fighting, Ray, where were you? Where did you get disabled? What?
I was in the Air Force. I didn't get blowed up or anything. I had something happen to me while I was in the Air Force, but I was a weapons loader.
Okay.
And I was in the stealth program. I sent my bombs over there. I knew they did what they had to do, and they came back. I gave them more to go send over there. So. Yes,
and you were fighting, and your bombs were being dropped on radical Islam, and I know
exactly.
not the people that were praying at the fucking mosque.
I would never want one of my bombs. Yeah, I would never want one of anything that I sent up in the air fall in my country.
Right. Well, Ray, hey, thank you for your service, seriously, and we need guys like you, and please call back. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, look, I understand why people are skeptical. I'm actually writing a bit about if you're a Muslim, why you would move to the United States when everything, and again, I've told the story before. I'm in a cab in New York City going to the Comedy Cellar one night, and there's a Muslim driver, and there's a young couple, guy and girl, making out, two white kids on the hood of a car, and he went fucking ballistic. And that's when it dawned on me, well, why would you come over here? We're very liberal, West liberal. You know what I mean? You can't eat pork. We ate 70 million pounds of bacon a year. We love dogs. We have you porn. Well, it's all over the world now. Sometimes they're right about shit. But I'm just saying, what, and people go, well, they can pray freely over here. Well, they can't in the Middle East? What is it, Indonesia or Malaysia? I always confuse the two, has the largest Muslim population of any nation. But I watch these guys pushing hot dog carts up New York streets, and I'm like, okay, is he over here because he wants to be the hot dog king 20 years from now? Which is, Nick, that's horrible to think like that. Whatever. I lived in Queens, and like I said, most of them were hardworking and everything. There's a difference between Islam and radical Islam. People tell me I'm full of shit, like this crazy guy that did the shooting. They're all over the planet, and that's their plan. Even if that's their fucking plan, you're going to be gone, dude, before it kicks in. Let's go to Brendan, Babylon, Long Island. Brendan, what's up?
Hey, what do you say, Nick, man? Big fan of yours.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, so I caught the video of this shooting, and I was just appalled. I mean, this fella's marksmanship was atrocious. He had 10, 15 minutes in there, and he only got 49 kills. I mean, with any type of aim, he could have at least gotten to the triple digits.
I can't tell if you're trying to be funny in it or not, or... I mean, you saw the actual...
It's a little dry, but...
Well, it's not dry. No. It's sick, actually. Fucking Long Island. Long Island people are deranged. But did you actually see... You actually saw the footage, Brendan? Seriously?
Yeah, I saw bits of it. It's all fucking wobbly. You know, it wasn't really that clear, that good. But I mean, you know, they're breeding us out of existence. And, you know, I get what you're saying. There are some good ones, but, you know, people have had enough of this shit, you know. And then when they react like that, hey, man, it's not like totally crazy. I mean,
no, I hear what you're saying, but I could never condone. Thanks for the call, Brendan. By the way, I'll comment. Those birth rates and that stuff is absolutely true, factual. Those numbers and shit. But if this is your logical conclusion, you know what I mean? It's nothing logical or reasonable about it. It's fucking, it's twisted. I don't question a lot of the fucking, you know. And you know, there are a lot of people out there when this happened went, yeah, how do you guys like it? You know what I mean? You know, and they'll blame that on Trump because he has the balls to do what? I don't know. Not be ashamed of being white. But this is ridiculous. Here's some of the manifesto he left. I'm going to read. It was like a question and answer thing he did with himself. Are you a racist? Yes, by definition, as I believe. What is this, a rhetorical question? Racial differences exist between peoples, and they gave a great impact on the way we shape our societies. You can't argue with that in this country. If you read the news and watch TV every day. I also believe fertility rates are part of those racial differences and that the immigrants in our lands with high fertility must be forced out to ensure the existence of our race. So, yes, I am a racist. At least he was honest with himself. I think he's asking the question. Are you a nationalist? Yes, predominantly an ethno-nationalist. I place importance on the health and well-being of my race above all else, which to me seems like another mistake. Are you a conservative? This must have really fucking hurt the mainstream media. No, conservatism is corporatism in disguise. I want no part of it, he says. And that's what you heard coming out of Chris Hayes at MSNBC. They asked him if he's Christian. He says, that is complicated. When I know, I will tell you. I got a feeling when you find out, you won't be able to tell us. Are you a homophobe? I mean, what's that got to do with it?
Fucking quiz!
Oh! Paulie Walnuts is a homophobe. No, he says, I simply don't care all that much what gay people do as long as they are loyal to their people. Their people. What if you're a Muslim and you're gay? Well, you're probably dead by now. And place their people's well-being first, then I have no issues. That, and I love Liza Minnelli. No, he didn't say that. It says, are you right wing? Depending on the definition, sure. Are you a left wing? Depending on the definition, sure. This guy's really confused. They didn't say, are you a homosexual? Are you a socialist? Depending on the definition. Working ownership of the means of production, it depends on who those workers are, their intents, who currently owns the means of production. So it's all race-based with him. That's all. That's what he's saying. What state owns it and their intent. And here's the big one, are you a supporter of Donald Trump? As a symbol of renewed white identity and common purpose, sure. As a policymaker and leader, dear God, no. Are you intolerant? He's asking himself some really softball questions. Sure, the last virtues of a dying nation are tolerance and apathy, and I want none of it, and I don't exactly disagree with that either.
You are correct, sir.
On some level. Not on a sick level. But you see, guys, come on. We're a melting pot, and you're going to tell me it's working? I'm not fucking advocating what this psycho did, but you telling me, I've made jokes on it, but nothing's melting. It's a bowl with fucking M&Ms and odor eaters and fucking corn on the cob and pudding.
I got some super chats for you.
Okay.
Crash Hard says, you are PewDiePie for grown-ups. You're a lot funnier. Keep it up, Nick.
I guess that's a compliment. I'm PewDiePie for grown-ups. I wouldn't know a fucking Game Boy or a fucking Xbox if it hit me in the bridge of the nose. I am no PewDiePie. I don't want you to teach me. That's why you're alone and you're confused sexually. Go ahead.
All right. C Speaks says, the New Zealand Prime Minister has already said that semi-auto rifles will be banned with immediate effect. She fails to realize criminals don't care about gun laws always used to strip away citizens' rights.
Yeah, no. She's fallen into his plan. He's probably nodding in his fucking He's alive, right?
I've been looking for that. I haven't seen that she's banned it yet.
No, but that's her first reaction, like the fucking idiots over here. And the question, you know how many NRA members have done a mass shooting? How about 0? And like you just said, they don't give a fuck about laws. That's what makes them outlaws. It's the silliest fucking. It's not the instrument. It's the psycho. Yeah, they'll go through the same shit, and that's just gonna stir up. You know what that does? That inflames another shooter out there. When you come for.
And one last one. Totally not Mossad. I saw the whole video, and I used to be deep into the same community as this psycho. I called the number to talk, but I couldn't get through. Maybe that's him on the line.
Where? What's his name?
I'll screen him.
What? See if you can find him. But, yeah, it's ridiculous. What else with the manifesto? Is there a particular person that radicalized you the most? And this is where he got tongue-in-cheek with Candace Owens, obviously. Then he says, though I will have to disavow some of her beliefs, the extreme actions she calls for are too much, even for my taste. That's when you know, obviously, he's kidding, since what he did makes that a fucking joke. Dope. I think that's called sarcasm. Anyways, the birth rates and whatnot. Devin in Florida. Devin.
Hey, Nick. Longtime fan. I wanted to talk about this kind of shit has happened before. I don't know if you've ever heard of Anders Breivik.
Of course I have.
He was in Norway.
Yes, I know who he is. He shot up a bunch of kids at a fucking, what I call an indoctrination school. And this guy, yeah,
right.
that was one of his heroes, I know. It proves he's a psycho.
Yeah, he did it to, like, try and send a message out to the world to be like, the Muslims are taking over, and this is my way of fighting back against Muslim immigration and shit. And it's like, that's a really brutal way to try and send a message. And,
well,
like,
yes.
I'm pretty sure that...
Yes, it is. But let's not pretend that the fucking Muslims, radicalized Muslims, don't do the same thing. How many messages have they sent as opposed to white guys doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah. And, like, it reminds me also of, like, Charles Manson. Like, he did that murder where he killed, what's his name, the director's wife, and did that whole thing because he was trying to go, like, it's a coming race war, and I'm going to be the one to start it. And it's like, that was, what, like 50-plus years ago, and it still hasn't really happened yet. It's like...
No, but...
these murders and shit...
Yeah, no, but he wasn't...
To try and, like, start a ball rolling is horrible.
Yes, but you know, this is also a response to how many fucking people have been blown up in the name of Islam. And I'm not just talking about mass shootings. I'm talking about how many... Since I was 10, every night on the news, 42 people died in Afghanistan. I can't believe there's anybody left in the Middle East. But what the end goal is, what the end goal of the Muslims is, you know, it's, you read the Quran and shit, and they want to plant their flag everywhere. But this is not, you know, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Devin, good to hear from you, buddy. Danny in Las Vegas. Whoop, sorry. What happened to Danny? Now it's Craig in Minnesota. Go, Craig. What's up?
Nick, what's up?
What's happening?
Hey, listen, I live in Minnesota, and I don't know if you've been following, but we have a huge Muslim population in Minnesota.
Of course,
right now, which, frankly, it doesn't make sense to me because Minnesota is cold, it's gray, it's horrible to live in the winter, but we have a huge Muslim population.
Somalis.
The thing is that Somalis, yeah. It makes no sense. I mean, it's just like you see fat Norwegians and Polish people around town, and then you see skinny Somalian Muslims, and you just kind of just have to look back and be like, what's going on here? And the thing is that I read his manifesto, and he's crazy, but if you look at the birth rate, is that actually two things. One, if you take a look at the history of all the mass shooters in America in the last 10 years, every single one of them came from a single parent family, mostly a mother, and they were basically incels, involuntary celibate, and they had no father figure. And so, which leads to my second point, is that internally in America, we're facing the complete collapse of the family. And, you know, unfortunately, white Americans and their family structure is collapsing, while the immigrant family structure, the Mexicans, the Chinese, the Somalians, even like the Arabs, they have a strong family dynamic. So, I mean, you have to kind of have to ask yourself, like, why is the white family dynamic collapsing? And people are choosing not to have kids because they want to have a career and money.
Well,
and
you can
the Instagram lifestyle.
Right. All right, Craig. I'll
yet everyone else is.
Go ahead.
I love your show, Nick.
I appreciate it, man. You make some points. I'll address them. Well, yeah, there's that theory out there that, you know, the left-wing ideology, it's, you know, as you get comfortable and whites have had all the power and the money and you know, your parents spoil you rotten and like he said, an Instagram lifestyle. It's sort of not, I don't think it's a conscious, but yes, the left-wing media and feminism and, you know, fuck having kids, go to work, ladies, and blah, blah. That's all, those are all legitimate points, you know? I'm not totally saying this psycho was wrong about some stuff, but you got something, you know, you got a screw loose. You can make those points and, but you don't have to spray a bunch of worshipers. You know what you do if it bothers you? You know what you should have done? Whatever your name is, Mr. Tarrant. How about joining the military and going overseas and putting on a uniform? Those are the radical, you know. I don't know how old you were. Well, you're 28, so you're too young back in the day. But you're an Australian, too. But I'm just saying, if that's your beliefs, you don't fucking go into a mosque where people are praying. And the other point is about the guns. What if there was a couple guys there with guns at the door? Once again, the Second Amendment people will tell you that could have been stopped and that's a legitimate point too. But I've had these same thoughts. Why are Somalis in Minneapolis? Who picked Minneapolis? How does that fucking work? Huh?
They're Vikings fans.
Maybe. Ahmad Rashad was actually the Vikings had fucking the first Muslim. But it is bizarre. Bunch of Somali living in the middle of the country, and I don't know how it works. Real quick dates, you can get them at nickdip.com. Friday, March 29th, Decatur Civic Center, Decatur, Illinois. The next night, Saturday, March 30th, Del Mar Hall, St. Louis, Missouri. Friday, April 26th, Steel Stacks, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Friday and Saturday, May 3 and 4, Side Splitters, Tampa. Friday and Saturday, May 10th and 11th, Governors in Levittown, New York. Friday, May 34th, Jonathan's at Gunkwit, Maine. Saturday, June 1, Whites of Westport, Mass. Saturday, August 10th, Newtown Theater, Newtown, Pennsylvania. Friday and Saturday, August 16th, 17th, Helium Comedy Club in Philly. Friday the 18th, Ridgefield Playhouse, Ridgefield, Connecticut. That's we changed it. Friday, November 15th, Cortland Repertory Theater, and then New Year's Eve back at the Tarrytown Music Hall, Tarrytown, New York. Go to nickdip.com for your tickets. I'll take a couple more on this. I want to move on. I didn't want to do the whole show on it, but, you know, it's one of those days. Let's go to Kurt in Fort Worth. Kurt, what's up?
Nick, good to talk to you. Hey, yeah, you can run this into the ground, right? I know how you feel. What I like to do is when there's a bad day and something fucked up happens, I like to think back to the good times. And I remember during the Obama administration, there wasn't a lot of good times, but there was one when Harry Reid showed up on the Senate floor with a huge black eye, made your black eye look like a little scratch.
That happened from his exercise equipment, right?
Yeah, I said it happened from his exercise equipment. So I told my wife last night. I said I think he got beat up by his thigh master, and she about spit out her screwdriver. And
drinking screwdrivers.
Yeah, thigh master chasing him around the room.
Yeah.
And I guess the thigh master got the best of him.
Holy
I was
shit.
telling Twinkie there, your Twinkie Ryan there, the story behind that. He was amazed because he was just a kid when it happened. I said, actually, he got beat up by his brother. He punched him in the face and knocked him down a flight of stairs because I guess Harry owed him some money.
Yeah. It's embarrassing when you get beat up by a Bowflex. And he was a boxer, supposedly, Harry. Fucking jerk off.
Yeah, he was a boxer. See, I mean, he's getting beat up by a thigh master, man. This guy's not very coordinated. He's not fast. I'll take him.
All right, Kurt. Thanks, buddy. All right. Let's go to our buddy Jake in Utah. Says wants to share some Utah Mormon wisdom about churches. I'm always open to that. Jake, what's the wisdom?
I'm sorry. Give me a few minutes. I'm still spacing out on that fucking black eye. What the? Did the fucking thigh master wrap a rope around his neck too?
I know. It was all staged. It was all staged.
Okay. What was I gonna say again, Nick?
You said you had some wisdom about some Mormon wisdom about churches.
Oh yeah, open carry. You pop off around in a Mormon church, you get shot 600 times by 650 people.
Yeah, I mean that's what this guy wanted to start the conversation. He wanted to start the conversation about guns, and you know, it happened in Australia, but I know I wouldn't fuck with a Mormon church. You could get sprayed. I think Mitt Romney has a gun under.
I got a question.
Yeah.
His name. What's it? Has anybody thought that this seems like a really good Brenton Tarantino movie or what?
Yeah, Brenton Tarantino.
The guy, did he pick that name or what?
That's his name. His parents are Irish and Scottish and whatever. Thank you, Jake, for the call. Excuse me. Let's go to Travis. He says, what are your thoughts on our American military killing so many innocent Muslims throughout the years? Can you explain to me specific cases of that, Travis? When did we do that?
Hey, Nick.
What up, brother, man?
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I'm doing all right, I guess. I don't know. Are you feeling all right, man?
I'm good. Feel great.
Yeah, your eyes look bloodshot. Hopefully you're doing all right.
I have really hard water at my house. When I take a shower, they look like I smoked a bag of weed. And you know I don't do that.
Yeah, you probably look like me right now. I don't know, but no, I just our military. I just to answer the question. I'm kind of not feeling too good right now. If you can just answer the question.
I asked you what specific incidences where we killed innocent Muslims are you talking about specifically?
Oh, I mean, the drones in Iraq, Afghanistan.
Those are
Syria,
those are innocent Muslims who were killing, or they were caught in the crossfire.
I mean, what do they call it when you kill people in conflict when they're in the way?
What do they call the
casualties?
No, not casualties.
Yeah, like,
the term.
Fire.
Hold on one second.
I can't think right now.
I know. I'm the same way, and I didn't even smoke weed. What do you call it when? I know what he's saying. Innocents get caught in the. Something damage, collateral damage, right, Travis? Collateral damage. Yes.
A good movie name.
Well, here's how I feel about that. That happens in every war, and the idea that the United States, when you're bombing people and shit, and you're going after bad people, some innocent people are going to get killed. That's the way war works, unfortunately. But they're going to use that as a in 9/11, how many 3,000 people dead? Then we go over there and hit them back, and a few innocent people get killed. Tough. That's how it fucking works. Yeah. I mean, we have smart weapons, but they're not that smart. We can't pick off. And how about
It's just unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, no doubt about it. And Muslims will bring that up and stuff, but I don't think it's really it's collateral damage, like you said. It's gonna fucking happen.
Hey, Nick, thanks for taking my call.
You got
really
it, Travis.
It.
You sound like you get a good buzz.
I'm gonna go back to What?
You sound like you get a good buzz going.
Yeah, I do, man.
All right, go enjoy your buzz. Thank you, brother. Yeah, they bring that up. Innocent Muslims. Yes, Ryan? Oh, I thought. You know. That was him? Who? Oh, totally not Mossad. He says, used to be part of the same community this psycho was in, and I noticed things in his shooting video other people wouldn't see. It's scary. Like what, sir? Very interesting.
Well, first I just want to say I had to slam about 3 beers before I got on the phone because I've never even talked to my own family about this kind of shit.
Okay.
So I'm really fucking nervous right now.
That's all right.
But, yeah. I mean, you guys want to talk about dog whistles, man. If you see the video, this guy had symbols and phrases painted all over his gun.
Yes, I saw that.
Relate to Google websites, yeah. He had the names of Swedish girls who died in terrorist attacks.
Yes.
On his gun that are pretty prominent. And the thing about this guy is that he was super lonely and kind of isolated, which is how they usually pick up on people like us.
Yeah.
But yeah, in reality, I don't think that this guy, it's all an act. He doesn't give a fuck about, Swedish girls getting killed. He's so insane and insulated in this community that it's like a cult, and you can't get out without becoming like a cock.
Let me ask you, sir. So you were part of this sort of white supremacist groups or militia, and when you fell into that trap, were you lonely and didn't have a life, and did they kind of radicalize you?
Yeah, and it wasn't really a militia. It's like online, and people are posting shit. And every once in a while, someone will say like, "Hey, don't go to school tomorrow," or "Don't go to this location tomorrow," which is what this guy did on 8chan. He said he was going to do everything, and then he went and did it, and they shut down the site.
What changed your mind and got you out of that mindset?
You know what it was? I couldn't live with hate in my heart anymore. Like, it just was corrosive and eating me inside. And when I saw this video, I could see that the light in this man's eyes had gone, just like it had out of mine. Mm-hmm. And he was insulated and trapped in this cult. And this is what happens to people who go too deep. So you got to get out.
When you say cult, who are you talking about exactly?
I don't exactly know what label to put on it. People say things like alt-right. People say things like full-blown Nazi, but it's really just a strange amalgamation of lonely creeps on the internet that kind of like keep each other down.
Well, yeah, yes and no, but there was, before the internet, there have been mass shootings and murders too. But yes, definitely the Muslims talk about radicalization. ISIS, that's their game plan. They're great at it. So you make a valid point. Hey, great call. Thank you. Totally not Mossad from Connecticut. That sounds weird.
I actually agree. I don't think this guy really had an ideology other than just to be divisive for divisiveness' sake.
Yeah, but did you read the manifesto?
That's what's creeping me out about is the way it's written.
I think he has a very specific ideology.
Well, I think it's pulled from valid things, but it's written in a way that each side can pick and choose what it wants to see. It itself is divisive.
I agree with that. I agree that he took the time, but this is why I believe that he has an ideology. He took the time to say, I'm a socialist, I was this, I was that. So, because after shit like this happens all the time, if you only have one point of view, they go, oh, he's definitely a right wing. He wanted to make it, he wanted it muddled. But those statistics about birth rates and all that shit, that has been said by mainstream politicians. Oh, Pat Buchanan, who, those are legitimate points. But I think you're right. You have to be lonely to take it this far.
And that's the thing. I think he tried to base it in a lot of fact to give it validity, but I can't help but feel like the whole thing's a troll, especially the way it's written. Like, it itself is formatted in a very split way. He's interviewing himself almost with this weird built-in duality that I think he's trying to impose on everyone.
Well,
it's creepy.
Well, I think is he did that because he knows how the mainstream media in this country is going to twist it.
Yeah,
So,
which is why I think...
And those are legitimate points about birth rates and fucking feminism and the nuclear family falling apart. That's all fucking legit. But you don't take it to this logical conclusion, or illogical. I mean, but what has he done? By doing this, the world is talking about his ideology.
Yeah, and we're kind of split on it.
You
the
know?
left is going to say, oh, well, it's Trump. The right's going to say, oh, well, look at the liberals pushing that.
A few people, but I think he believes what he was saying. But you have to be crazy to take it that far. I don't know. I guess we're doing the whole hour on this. Well, what are you gonna do? The whole fucking world's talking about it. Let's go to our buddy Hercules in Italy. Hercules.
Hey, Nick.
How are you, sir?
Come stai? Fine, thanks. Listen,
molto
real
bene.
quick. Yeah, hey, very good. Two things. My mom wants to send you guys biscottis, so if you can get Ryan or Jason there to send me your P.O. box number, whatever it is, and I'll fire that off in the mail to you. They're really, really good.
I hope it's not.
Number two.
How do we know that it's not a bomb or ricin in the biscottis?
Pa piacere, man. We sent him. I met Tony Vaccaro. I don't know if you know. No. Do you know Tony Vaccaro, the photographer?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in Long Island, I sent it to him because he's from our hometown, and I freaked. Anyway. Okay. Anyway.
All right.
Listen about this shooting thing. It's very, very sad, obviously.
Right.
But the thing that really annoys me, and I guess with time people forget, but Sirhan. That doesn't ring a bell as Luigi, and he took out Kennedy.
That's right.
And then we had another Baba who decides that he's going to save the world and take out our Pope. And how did we behave? We behaved in the typical stupid way. Oh, is the Pope okay? Then we have a freak that goes into a church in France. When I have a lot of French friends.
Yes.
And they beheaded the Pope right in church and that. And again, what did the frogs do? Oh, is he okay? Oh, that was terrible. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
And again, we go on with our lives.
Right.
The problem is when the WAPs have a problem, we, the WAPs, deal with the freaks. What these people do, they don't deal with these guys. They know who they are, and they don't deal with them.
Let me
in
put.
This case, yes. In this case, it was an Australian dude.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But the Muzzies, they do not take care. They don't. How do I explain that? It's like
they don't
you
speak
have a
up.
bunch of rough.
No, you're right. They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't condemn this shit. They never come out and.
You and I knew that there was. Yeah, if you and I knew that there was like Vinny down the street was part of the mafia, or whatever, we would deal with this guy, right? Because he's going to make the entire neighborhood look like shit, right? And then you and I, we always get pulled over by the cops. We get beat up. We get da-da-da. They don't give a shit. It's almost like they're passive-aggressive, and they hope that tomorrow they do take over the world. So you get a freak like this guy in Australia that runs over and starts shooting people. I'm not saying that he was right. Obviously not. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I'd rather see people eat pizza.
But let me just. But you say Italians will put up with that shit. Italy's being overrun by North Africans. You guys aren't doing shit about it either.
No, it's not. No. Salvini solved that problem, and thanks to the Führer that we have in Das Deutschland. Okay, Führer Merkel. There. You know what? The Germans. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who's listening to your show. If there's any squareheads in America still listening to the thing, you know what? They are the most destructive people. Period. 2 wars, and they never paid back United States for any of the money you guys loaned them. But England had to pay back.
Right.
And then you go and give control of Europe to the very people who wanted to take you out. Ma proprio stupidaggine. Complete. No, I'm serious. It'd be like United States giving control of their economy to the pepper bellies.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
One last thing, and I'll let you.
Real quick.
One thing,
real quick. I gotta go. Go ahead.
What's with the shit map for San Francisco?
What, human?
That is an embarrassment, man. I grew up 57 years of my life. I had my balls busted about America #1, and now I see a shit map.
Yes, they have an app for that. because that's a
And
liberal-run
Schiffy,
city.
And that. Yeah, and that fucking peyote-faced Schiffy, he's running around talking bad about Trump when he's got shit in his backyard. Anyway, listen.
All right,
Send me that address, and I'll send that off to
I
you.
will
Okay, my
do
friend.
that.
Oh.
Grazie.
And I'm going
I don't know what he's talking about. I saw footage of like a beach in Italy, and boats were pulling up with fucking immigrants running off it. But and Sicily was being over them, but they take care of it. Ryan, do you want nothing? Anyhow, didn't mean to spend the... Let me do one hard-hitting story before we go. Speaking of Italy. Hey, a Texas woman suing the Olive Garden. Claiming the restaurant chain stuffed mushrooms caused severe burns to her throat after eating them. That's what you get for going to the fucking... Can I just say something about the Olive Garden? I had a great bit on it. People still request it. We could have played it, but I was too lazy to tell the guys to pull it up. Let me just say something. I say it about pizza, too. Even bad pizza is good. You go into the Olive Garden, 12 drinks in you, well, shit tastes good. Pasta is pasta. You can only fuck up marinara sauce so much. You bring me warm breadsticks, I don't give a shit if they're out of a dumpster behind the Olive Garden. I'm eating them. I did that in Jacksonville, Florida. It was the funniest goddamn thing. I'm there with a gay black comic. He was my opening act. And the young waiter goes to me, you're Stallone. He thought I was Stallone. And I go, no. He goes, Frank, you're not Frank Stallone? Then he brought me my manigot, and I wolfed it down like it was good. Anyways, Danny Howard of Fort Worth, that's a woman, filed a lawsuit in, oh my God, how weird is this? Filed a lawsuit in Tarrant County. What in Christ's name? Are the Muslims behind these mushrooms? Isn't that weird? That's the guy's last name, the shooter. Alleging the restaurant did not warn her about the mushroom temperature before she ate them. Should we put you in a high chair and a bib, too, and chew your food for you, you dumb cunt? Howard's claims she visited a local Olive Garden on August 11, 2017, ordered mushroom appetizer, states in the lawsuit the server did not warn her the mushrooms were particularly hot. What are you, fucking blind and deaf? Or that there was a risk to cause severe burns before she ate them. Then she started choking on them. And then she ran in the kitchen and threw up. Would you like the never-ending bowl of diarrhea? After taking a bite of the mushroom, immediately burned her mouth. She claims before becoming lodged in her throat and causing her to choke, Howard allegedly stopped breathing while she was choking on the mushroom. Sure you did, you fat twat. And frantically shuffled through the restaurant in need of help. Eventually she managed to relieve the mushroom from her throat and threw up in a kitchen station. The Olive Garden used that as their Alfredo sauce for the rest of the night, and everybody was raving about it. After the incident, Howard drove herself to the emergency room, but on the way, she claimed she felt her throat begin to close and called an ambulance to take her to the... You fucking want money. Howard was then taken to the burn unit. Did you eat a hot mushroom or step on an IED in fucking Kabul, you fat cunt? The woman seeking 200 large, as the Guineas say. $200,000 to $1 million in damages, claiming the Olive Garden staff were negligent in not warning her about the... Really? How many other people had the mushrooms that night that didn't get burned? You're everything that's wrong with the world. I wish it burnt a hole through your lungs and liver and you died in front of your kids while eating a shit salad. Okay, I went a little too far. That's enough.
I got one more super chat.
Write down the,
announce?
Yeah, thanks for saying that. You notice I didn't say it, but yeah. Yes, I told you to and you forgot. But go ahead, another super chat.
All right, so
I need the money. I need a new tie.
Chanel Julio, who says, "Hey Nick, in an attempt to lighten things up, don't you think big boobs look dumb? If big boobs could talk, I bet they would start every sentence with, duh."
Oh, God. That's how we're going to end the fucking show. Do big boobs look dumb? Yeah. They used to look dumb on my dad when he had his shirt off and he was cooking on the grill. On a stripper, no. I'd like to chew on them till the fucking nipples fall off. I like medium ones. I like fucking small ones. I like titties. I just don't like them on my, men. Could I say it any clearer? Don't forget Cameo.com, kids. If you want me to send a little video to one of your enemies, your friends, whatever, bust your friend's balls, tell your neighbor she's a douche, your old girlfriend is syphilitic, I will do all that. $60. I don't even get all of that, by the way. But I had 3 more this morning. People are loving this shit. I will roast your friends, or I'll be nice. I'll tell Grammy she still has a nice ass, and she's in her late hundreds. Whatever you guys want. Happy Bar Mitzvah. Cameo.com. Click on my profile. It's really easy, and I love doing it. I guess I'll say this on Monday. Greta Thunberg, she's a 16-year-old girl, nominated for a Nobel Prize for climate activism. She's a creepy little girl. Right now in this country today, a lot of middle school kids all over the world, because of this little broad, skip school to protest climate. Is that what we're listening to? Excuse me, 16-year-old girls. You wonder why we're in trouble climate-wise? Don't you ask yourself that, lefties who believe in this climate change? Well, a 16-year-old girl agrees with my point of view. I might have to rethink this. The fuck does she know? And I'm pretty sure she's smarter than I am, but that's not the point. Anyways, that is it for the week. Thank you guys so much. Go to nickdip.com. Come to my gigs, get my dates and all that horse shit. Remember, for 30 years, you guys have been thinking it. I've been saying it. And glad to. You're welcome. I will see you on Monday. Take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.